Go ahead, put it on real tight. Hope you brought your best tonight. They say they got the fireworks, yeah, they say they got the show. Here around the chutes, you're the best, so let's go.
This is Texas Toast, a production of TSC Entertainment. I'm your host, Miss Helen. Kick back and enjoy as we toast the best from Texas.
Hey everyone, welcome to Texas Toast. I'm Miss Helen, along with a very special guest who has had tons of success, great sound, Chad Cooke Band. Welcome, Chad Cooke, to Texas Toast. So happy to have you and have a chance to visit with you.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Helen. I really appreciate it.
So going back, I'm just looking at your music, and of course, everything kind of rolled out for y'all like in 2016 with the release of your first debut album, but the single Oil Man, which has millions of streams. Lyrically, it's amazing. The sound is amazing. So tell us, let's start with Oil Man, where it all started.
Yeah, that was the foundation of this band, really. In 2016, I just recently, a year before that, got laid off in the oil field. I was working in Victoria, Texas, for Halliburton. Did that for 4 years, and one day I showed up and they shut the gates and told us the price of oil was too low. Go find something else to do. So that's when I moved to Houston and met my band. I met my guitar player, and then through him met my bass player, and then our drummer and then bass player. And but Oil Man was just something I recorded actually here in this bedroom right here.
Wow.
You can see I just bought a bunch of recording equipment, had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have the money to go in and record, a full length album or anything. So I recorded Oil Man was the first song that I recorded on that. I wasn't even going to record an album. It was just going to be one song just about my experience in the oil field. And recorded that, put it up on iTunes and Spotify and YouTube and stuff. And it was awesome. Just a bunch of oilfield buddies shared it, and then a bunch of oilfield companies. And then just the feedback I got, I was like, man, this is, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do this for, just for fun. And I'll record some more songs. So I ended up recording our first album, Easy Way Home. The whole thing was recorded at my house. I sent it off to Nashville for guys to do some mastering and some other stuff. But other than that, I recorded all the instruments myself, and did all the harmonies myself. Because at the time I was kind of finding my band. But Old Man's been great for us. Still today, it's our probably. We got a couple other songs that are now starting to compete with it as far as people requesting it. But Old Man has always been great.
Yes, kind of your signature song. So tell me so you go from Victoria, which is right by me. Victoria is just down the road from me.
Yeah.
So you go from that, and how did you get your band together?
So when I moved to Houston, I actually put an ad. I didn't know anybody in Houston. I was brand new to the area. So I put an ad up on Craigslist, actually looking for a guitar player. And through a guy in Nashville saw it, and he responded. And he said, "Hey man, I was on here looking for a guitar, but I saw that you needed a guitar player. I know a guy in Houston named Dallas McGilberry. He's a good friend." He said, I know you'll get along with him. Call him up, see if he's interested." So I called Dallas up, and a couple of the days later, we met up, played a few songs, and the next week we had a gig in Victoria. So we went back to Victoria and played a show. And after that, I was like, man, if you want to keep doing this, we had a stand-in drummer and stand-in bass player. And so I needed a full-time bass player, full-time drummer here in the Houston area. And so he's been playing in Houston. Dallas lived in Houston his whole life, between here and Huntsville. And so he introduced me to our drummer, Mikey Nera. He was playing in a rock band with him. And so Mikey joined on, and then through Mikey, we met Kevin, our bass player. So really, yeah. So met these guys on Craigslist.
Wow.
And that was 6 years ago. So I've had the same band ever since. We don't have stand-in guys. We don't, I haven't played a show with anybody else except these three guys. And we're best friends. These guys are my best friends. And they're like brothers at this point. And we play every show together. A lot of times we do interviews together too, but one of our guys is in Oregon right now. Another guy's helping out in the studio in Nashville. So we're trying to finish up some stuff for an upcoming record. So yeah. So, it's crazy, but we actually met on Craigslist.
That is a great story, especially starting with yours, with being laid off in Victoria, then getting a band together via Craigslist, because then you turn into, hold the record for the longest charted single on the Texas Regional Radio Report, which peaked at number 3 with Whatever It Takes. But then you follow up with 4 number ones after that. Bringing Country Back is such a super cool song. I want to talk a little bit about that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you. And that was a crazy ride, whatever it takes, being 43 weeks on the chart, we did not expect. And really, when you release a song to radio, that was our first promoted single on
Mhm.
radio. We got a hold of Dylan Steen. Actually, Dylan turned us down the first time. We sent another song to him before Whatever It Takes. And it was right after Harvey. And he just said the song, it would be competing too much with another song that was out, Faith in the Water, which was a
Yes.
great
So you're talking
song.
about Come and Take It.
Yeah, so Come and Take It was one we wanted to pitch to radio as our first single.
Mhm.
Dylan was like, "Well, Faith in the Water is doing great. You got like a million different country artists on it from Texas, and he said it's gonna be really hard to compete with that as guys who have never released a single, especially on Texas radio. So let's just wait on that one and send me another song, and we'll go from there." So we sent him Whatever It Takes. We didn't make number one, but having a song hold the record for the longest starting single to me is just as cool, if maybe not cooler, because that's a lot of longevity out of a song.
Right. That is a lot of longevity. And also it's like I always say, that is a heavy hitting chart. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of talent on that chart and it's not easy. So to be successful on that chart is, I mean, that's absolutely amazing. Cause then you also had Cowboys Cowgirl, Life Behind Bars, which I love the lyrics in that. It's such a true story. It just nails it. I love that song.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I wish I could say we wrote that one. That one was actually pitched to us. Um, Cowboys Cowgirl we wrote, and not with a buddy of ours named Jordan Walker. And Jordan Walker actually pitched us a song before that, which was Life Behind Bars. And that we were actually headed to the studio to record our album, and we weren't even going to put that song on it. We didn't even know about the song. And it was the day before we were about to fly out to Nashville, and he sent it to us. He goes, "Hey guys, I know you're recording tomorrow, but here's another song just in case you want to give it a listen." And we listened to it on the way to the airport. We were like, "We love this song. We got to find a
Yes.
spot for this song," because it just, being a band traveling around, bar to bar to bar, and just, but also it's for the bartenders too, the people who work at the bars and what their
Mhm.
experiences are in that daily life. So we kind of felt like it connected with us. It connects with the bar industry. And yeah, so it ended up being number one for us too. So that was really cool.
And also, and then 4 minutes as well. So you've got a tour schedule back out there running again. How is that going?
Oh, it's great. It's good to be back on the road. COVID obviously shut everybody down, including us. We did a couple of small things here and there when we could, some private shows, but we've been back on the road now since, I think September. We got back, and now we're full steam ahead, going into this year. So yeah, we just signed with a booking agency. We before that we were booking everything ourselves, but we're working with a company called True Grit now,
Hmm.
and they're doing a fabulous job. I mean, just over the moon on what they're doing. It takes a lot of weight off us too from having to book our own shows. So we're traveling a lot of before we were just playing in Oklahoma and Texas, and now they got us going to New Mexico and Wyoming and Colorado and Missouri and Nashville and Tennessee and different places. So touring is great. It's good to be back on the road. We got a lot of shows coming up, and just full steam ahead.
Yes. So what are your live shows like? Like I can only imagine because just listening to your music and the harmony and the sound that you have. So what is your set list like? What's kind of your favorite thing about being out in front of the audience and performing?
Yeah, well, just being up on stage, being able to play our songs that we, work hard on writing or recording, and now we're, it's cool when you finally start seeing people show up that know the words and they're singing along, and
That's
that's a really neat experience. So, it, whether we had that or not, it'd be great. But seeing people that actually know the words, and they connect. We have people get engaged to some of our songs right there at the show, and different things. So just good to be back on the road. It's good to be playing our music in front of people again, and in front of a live audience, and not, we love the live stream thing. We did that during COVID, did a lot of live streams like a lot of artists did, to stay in front of their fans as much as they could. But there's nothing like being up on stage in a live audience and holding your beer up and having a good
right.
time with everybody. So it's good to be back on stage for sure.
Yeah, it's always that bonding experience when you go to a live show. Like I always say, I've repeated this so many times, but it's a true story with me. It doesn't matter. Every time I go to a live music festival or a live music event, I literally am making a new friend. Next thing you know, we're exchanging numbers. Then they're coming to fish with us. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just there's just something bonding about live music. And speaking of your music, what is the inspiration for your sound? Who were some of your musical inspirations?
Um, a lot of like original Texas country are the guys who kind of started the scene. You got your outlaw guys, obviously like Will and Waylon and those guys, Towns Van Zant and all those. But a lot of when I was in college, I met a songwriting buddy of mine, Brandon. He's actually our manager. He was my RA back in 2006, I met him and we started listening. He introduced me to a lot of like the newer country, well, I say back then it was newer. It was like, Randy Rogers and,
Right.
Josh Abbott and, all those guys. So that's kind of the early influence of when I started writing songs. But then now, we're a mixture. We like to stay a little bit of a mixture between that traditional country, traditional Texas country, but then there are a couple of top 40 guys that we like. We're big fans of John Party,
Hmm.
and Midland, and the list goes on. Even some early like Dierks Bentley stuff and some Eric Church and stuff like that. So we like to mix in a little bit of contemporary as well. So we got a little bit for everybody. People show up to our shows that are older, that are in their maybe we've had couples in their 60s and 70s that show up that they love to dance and they're like, we like your music because we can something we can
Yes.
dance to. And then we got younger crowd that's like, we got something we can drink to, and party to.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we like to
Yes.
mix it up.
I definitely could see that. So you've got a new single that's out right now. Of course, you've still got "I Want to Go Out" is on the charts, but I'm telling you, when I previewed "Senorita Sky," because I got it when it got released, that is like my summer song. I absolutely am in love with "Senorita Sky." And did you know that
Thank you.
it debuted at 51 Sunday on the Texas Country Music Chart.com?
Did it really?
Yeah,
I
highest debut. Yes, y'all had the highest debut.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so tell me about "Senorita Sky." I love it.
Yeah. So that is actually another one that we did not write. That was pitched to us from another songwriting buddy that we written a few songs with. He sent that song to us it was about over like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he sent that song to us as a acoustic recording. And his name's Andy Albert. Andy's got number ones with Dustin Lynch and Hardy and those guys. He does a lot of songwriting with them. But as soon as we heard it, we're like, I mean, we live here in South Texas. We live like on the coast. Spend a lot of time, like just like you do, fishing and being in South Texas. Senorita kind of caught just the word Senorita caught our ear and eye first, and then after listening to the song, we were like, man, this for where we're at, for our demographic, this song could not be more perfect for. And it's got to be a summertime single. It's not something you want to release in October. So we're like, we got to release it at the beginning of the summer. So we've been sitting on it for 2 years because COVID wasn't a good time to release it. So we waited until COVID was over and we were like, okay, we got to put it out, end of May, beginning of June, going into July and August, the summertime. So and I'll be honest with you, we weren't planning on, putting a lot of money behind it as a radio single. We were just going to put a lot of money on online, but our radio promoter Dylan Steen called me. He's like, I'm getting too much feedback, positive feedback from program directors on this song. And he's like, I'm not telling you how to run your business. He's like, but I'm highly suggesting you put the song out and give it everything, give it the radio,
Yes.
give it the social media marketing, and do both. And I'm glad we did, because it's been, we had a lot of positive feedback on that song, and my mom likes it. So, we can't go wrong there.
That's right. Mama knows best. Well,
Mama knows best.
yeah. And that's why it's like my background is radio, and that would have been an instant ad, and it would have been an instant, report. Yes. So I'm following it and listening to it. Like, I don't know how many times I've streamed it already myself, just playing it for everybody.
That's great.
It's so awesome. Yes.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
So you got, I guess we were talking about upcoming new album. Then I got off on Senorita Sky. Sorry about that.
No problem. We can go with this interview wherever you want to go.
I just get excited about that song. It's just amazing. And to think that you were so disciplined to hold off and know when the time would be right to release it, because that's a hard thing. It's like, I know, just as not a musician, but as a program director, I had a morning show and I got to debut a lot of new music. It was hard for me not to just want to press the button and play something like that when I would get excited. But how we would have to hold off till the official, had the interview in front of the single with like the artist. Anyway, long story short, I appreciate that discipline. That's very, very, very good stuff right there.
Well, just like it's hard for you to sit on it, it's hard. it's difficult, especially, and we've been listening to the song, because we've been sitting on it, we've heard it, since for 2 years now. So being able to finally put it out and finally hear what other people think about it and get other people's opinions on it. But it takes a lot of discipline to do that. And we have to, we probably dropped boxes to way too many people before in the past 2 years that we shouldn't have. So I'm not sure how many people actually heard it before now, but it's good to be out there.
You have to use that. Some of the artists used to send me for your ears only.
Right.
And that was hard. And I would keep that confidence. I would never, because they would, ask opinions like, should we release this to radio, or which one do you think? And I would love to, I would get the emails for your ears only. I love it.
Yeah, that's fun though. You get a little bit, advice to the artists, because we need that. We get kind of locked in our own space, so we need that outside advice for sure.
So now back to upcoming new album. What's up with that?
So we're planning on we don't have an exact date set. Like I said, and my guitar players on the line right now with Nashville, they're recording songs as we speak, 2 new songs. But we've been working on this. Let's see, our last album came out, Risk It All, in 2018, which is, now it's 2021. So we've wanted an album out before this, but we've been releasing singles. So these singles that we're putting out are going to be on the upcoming album. But we still have 7 songs. It's going to be a 12-song album. We have 7 songs that we have not released. So 5 songs. Senorita Sky was our 5th song on the upcoming album that we've already released. So I think we're going to do 1 more and then release the full-length album.
Awesome.
It's kind of the game plan anyway, but that changes. But we're pretty close to it. Like I said, the last 2 songs are being recorded today. The other songs we recorded, 5 of them we recorded last February, like the month before COVID hit. And then, the February before last. And then 5 of them we recorded the February before that. So it seems like we've been working on this forever, but we've written a lot of the songs on this upcoming album ourselves. Guys that have pitched songs to us, we've gone to Nashville and wrote with them and have collaborative songs with them.
Nice.
So it's just something, it's been a long time coming. It's been a long process, and we're very excited to finally get this out. So goal is early 2022, you'll be hearing a brand new album from Chad Cooke Band.
Oh, that's exciting. And I'm probably going to be seeing you in November at the Texas Country Music Association Awards, because y'all got some nominations: Entertainer of the Year, Country Band of the Year. And didn't one of your musicians get nominated also? Yeah,
our drummer, Mike Naira, for Drummer of the Year.
Yeah. So how exciting is that for y'all?
Very exciting. We had last year was our first year going to the Texas CMAs at Billy Bob's. And that is just what a cool place to be at for an award show, first off. And then it's nice being in the same place and with all these different country artists that some we've played with, some we haven't, some we're friends with, some we're, just meeting for the first time. So it's just a really cool event. We're super honored and humbled to be nominated for, all 3 categories. But for Entertainer, last year, I think we were up for 1 category of new country band of the year. So this year, being nominated for 3 different things, and our drummer Mikey is obviously over the moon, and we are for him too. So that's a cool thing for him.
And just to think, it all started on Craigslist.
It all started. Hey, Craigslist. You can get a washer and dryer or start a band.
Love it. I love it. It has been just such a thrill and a privilege to visit with you. Your music, honestly, it's just a breath of fresh air. There's just something about the Chad Cooke Band sound that I'm addicted. I'm hooked. I love it. Senorita Sky, I'm predicting, will be your next number 1. And just, kudos for all the good work and just persevering and being consistent. That's what's so important in this business.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So we're going to keep on doing what we do, and thank y'all for listening. It means the world to us.
Yes.
We couldn't do it without y'all, and thank you for playing our songs.
So one last exclusive Texas Toast podcast question. If you were a cocktail, what would you be?
Straight up Jack Daniels.
All right. We got a Jack man right here.
That's
All
it.
right. Thank you so much, Chad. Hopefully I'll see you down the road.
Thank you very much for having me.
And with a heavy tongue, she knew where I was from. As she left, I dared to say, well, you can go to hell. Hell, I'll go to Texas. I've had my fill of every place but home.